Hi friends, on behalf of CNED, I welcome you all to our 7th edition of CNED Dialogue program. One of our main agenda of CNED is to work and also to converse on development cooperation. And from this perspective, I think today's theme of discussion is very apt. We are going to discuss on enabling regional connectivity. We know how connectivity has become a kind of buzzword in the globalized world economy in contemporary past, and presently we are experiencing how COVID-19 is creating an uncertainty in seamless connectivity, and it is definitely visible in case of trade, transport, human movements, as well as people-to-people engagements across borders. So in this context of regional connectivity in this part of South Asia, be it in SAARC, in BBIN or BIMSTEC region, Bhutan is a very, very active and valuable member. Therefore, it is very important to understand Bhutan's perspective about regional connectivity. We are very happy to have with us Ms. Pushpa Chhetri, Director of Bhutan Media and Communication Institute, as our guest today. Pushpa leads the institution with the vision of providing quality media and communication training. Her special area of interest, of course, remains cross-border connectivity. Pushpa, a very warm welcome to our program.
Thank you very much, Anusua.
Yeah, so let's begin our discussion with the concept of gross national happiness. As we all know that this concept has become very important part of Bhutan's national identity associated with a deeper understanding of values along with compassion and wisdom. So under these circumstances, how do you reconcile inclusiveness of gross national happiness with the openness of cross-border connectivity?
Thank you, Anusua. Firstly, let me give you a disclaimer that the views and opinions that are shared today is mine and mine alone. And yes, very interesting question that you have asked. I believe our GNH values are integrated in all policies and plans. So one of the pillars of happiness is equitable and sustainable socio-economic development. So in the sustainable economic growth is an economic development that attempts to satisfy the needs of humans, but in a manner that sustains, at the same time, natural resource and the environment for future generations. And our openness to trading should not lead to mass consumerism. It should meet our needs first and not wants.
Oh, it's very interesting, and it reminds me about our field visit in Bhutan. And all over the places, the institutions where we visited, we came to know about the values of gross national happiness. So I decided to start this discussion with this concept of gross national happiness. And I think it is very important to understand while we are dealing with cross-border connectivity, which leads us towards a kind of openness. And we know that your institution, BMCI, has conducted extensive survey based on field visits on how to facilitate trade, transport, and transit within the sub-region and BBIN. And we also know how this concept of BBIN as sub-region is gaining its salience. And you have extensively worked to address the people-centric issues related to livelihood, poverty, and gender. So in these contexts, we would be very happy if you can share with us some of your findings and thoughts of this project.
Okay, the bottom line, I should say, of this project, as well as looking at connectivity, is really to make it work for peoples of all 4 countries without compromising anyone's national interests, because it's aimed at improving livelihood of the people. So that requires taking care of national sensitivities, interests, and concerns of all the 4 countries. So some of the interesting findings of this study, actually I believe there are many studies of this kind, but something very interesting about this was that I will highlight some of the findings, and
Yes,
to say what I found different about this study is that we found that it's very important to enhance security for Bhutanese travelers along the Indian roads. We also found that there is a need for integrated cross-border checkpoints to facilitate trading. Then we need single window information facility. The governments, governments or different governments must ensure effective cross-border coordination between different agencies and government departments. There is need for greater awareness on regional connectivity, and also that the wages and living standards of manual workers, we see a lot of manual workers, especially in the bordering areas, unloading, loading, and all this kind of work. It's very important that the manual workers should have improved livelihood, better job, dignity of labor, as well as mechanize wherever possible, so that we improve the lives of these people as well. So what was interesting is, apart from the findings from the research, which should otherwise just go and sit on someone's shelf, we could go to different project sites, create awareness through different workshops, invite all of them for policy dialogues, and then compile into policy briefs and recommendations, which was not only disseminated during the policy dialogues, but also published and disseminated later to all the government relevant agencies.
Your ideas and also your research findings in relation to cross-border connectivity, it actually inspired me to ask you the next question, which is very much related to border trade. And we know that how Phuntshiling and Joigao are intertwined with each other, and how Samrup Jongkha and the other part of Assam, they are also closely integrated with each other, and how people to people interactions are so important in these bordering areas. So border trading has opened up several economic opportunities for women who have taken up the role of service providers along the highways and also along the along the border points and in the border towns and industries. We know most handicrafts and ready-made garment shops, these have employed up to 98% women in sales. So indeed, the critical situation of COVID-19 has changed this trend a bit. So in your opinion, how do you visualize the future trend of women's participation in general job market as well as at the border points in particular?
I would say, thank goodness, these ready-made garments and handicrafts do not have an expiry. They are not perishable. So we could save this, and they will not go to waste. But having said that, I feel it's time that we build our digital skills and digital platforms, and they should emerge as a platform, as an alternative for women in trade. We need to develop digital skills for women in trade so that they can continue trading despite the situation like this. Hotels on the roadside, along the roadside and all that have to shift towards more distancing, outdoor dining, and maybe takeaway facilities.
Okay, so a few days back, we have got information that phone shilling is facing some kind of problem regarding border connectivity because of the outbreak of COVID-19. Can you highlight on this issue? What's the situation at this point, at this moment at the border point?
Finchling is still declared as a red zone, and there is no movement of vehicles to and from Finchling at the moment. And the most affected area in Finchling happens to be at the mini dry pot and Dantak areas. Dantak.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. So the situation is that that this lockdown will continue maybe for until a time when we stop getting new cases. Even as I talk yesterday, we have detected 4 new cases in Finchling, and that was from mini dry pot and among our frontline workers, all based in Finchling.
Right. And what about Samrup-Jongkha? What's the situation at this moment?
Samzongkha is not as bad as Finchling. Samzongkha, we have 1 or 2 cases, but there is no wide community transmission there. Even in Finchling, of course, most of these areas are cordoned off, So, yeah, but all the southern borders at the moment are restricted for movement of vehicles to and from there.
Right. So, while we are discussing with these kind of COVID situation, do you think that disruption of global supply chain because of COVID, it will prompt countries of this region we are talking about to pursue intra-regional trade? I mean to say that, is there any chance that we can revive our intra-regional trade by exploring our common complementarities? What's your opinion?
Yes, actually for Bhutan, over 80% of our trading partner is India, and has even during this situation, even more maybe. I would think of 2 things. Given the need to fulfill the demand for essential items, and finding things that are more affordable is more important. For example, people have become less conscious of which brand of hand wash or soap or salt or sugar or shampoo, at the moment. So, so long as it's available, especially during lockdowns. So if people can easily find quality regional brand at an affordable price, it might prompt more intra-regional trade. However, if the products are inferior or if they're overpriced, it might bounce back to the same situation, generally speaking. But for Bhutan, as India as the major trading partner, I don't know how much will change, how much of this dynamics will change.
Okay, I cannot resist myself asking you a question related to Bhutan media and role of media in your changing society, as you are from media and you are the director of Media and Communication Institute. So can you tell us about the role of media in this changing situation in Bhutan, and what's the situation of women's participation in media as well?
Well, I think media has a very crucial role to play, and with the mandate to inform, educate, and entertain. So now the role of media is even bigger. Media plays a central role in informing the public about what's happening in the country as well as around the world. We are reliant on media like television, press, online for any updates, right from the morning till night. Anyone can find out almost anything they want to know with the click of a button. That's the situation. So the role of mainstream media, I would want to reiterate on is, focus on is becoming more challenging It's more challenging with the proliferation of social media. But at the same time, it's very, very important that we are given verified and factual information by the mainstream media. So the media is also allowing a lot of space for public discourse. So I think that the role of media is really big. In terms of women's participation, I think like in the number of women working in the media is almost the same number or maybe more in some media houses. Yeah.
Oh.
So quite a big participation of women in the media in Bhutan.
Oh, it's very interesting, and we are very happy to to listen to you that women are sharing equal space in media, and also Bhutan's media is creating a public opinion, is able to create public opinion. Pushpa, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us so eloquently. As we don't have much time in our end, we have to stop our program today, but hope to be engaged and to continue our engagement in near future. Thank you so much, Pushpa.
Thank you, Anusua. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care and be safe.
Be safe. Be safe. Right.